or have heard, at least prior to coming here, what alopecia is. But in general, alopecia is just the medical term that we use for hair loss, di ba? Yung excessive, yun yung tinatawag natin. Because normally, we have hair loss. Di ba? Sino sa inyo, usually less than 100 strands a day, we experience that. Normal naman po yun. But yung sinasabi po natin alopecia is if it exceeds that period. Na pag kunyari, araw-araw napapansin natin na dumadami na siya. That's the time that we recommend consultation or at least for you to see. So, don't worry, I'm not gonna read, we're not gonna have a lecture today. So, the next slide, we're just gonna run through it. So, pag tinignan natin, iba-iba pong klase. So, pwedeng alopecia sa isang tao could be different from another. So, usually for males, sila po yung mas nakikita natin or medyo mas familiar tayo with the kind of alopecia that males have. Kasi males would have areas of alopecia po na tinatawag natin androgenetic alopecia or yung hormonal. So, pag ganun po, usually nakikita natin siya na dito in front. So, for females, what's different is, pag females po, ang nakikita nating alopecia, it's more diffuse. So pag mga babae, yung mga iba-ibang hairstyles na yan, yung mga mataas-taas, that's one way to cover it. Kaya minsan, mas may tendency, it's really more common, and this was asked to me this month, if it's more common. It's really more common in men, but usually for women, mas nakikita siya at the latter age. But siguro it's good to hear, for me to share na rin po, that hair loss actually starts at 20 years old. Di ba we might think na, I'll think about it when I get to 50. But when we consider it, that's why we really advocate for taking care of our hair early on kasi it starts at the early age. 20 years old pa lang, nagpro-progress na siya. Pwedeng hindi pa natin siya nakahalata because may pumapalit pang hair. But ang goal po natin is to be able to prevent it para hindi na siya umaabot dun sa malalang part. So, that's it. Basically, the most common is this one, the hereditary, which I mentioned. Yun po yung alam natin male pattern and female pattern hair loss. Yan po usually affects, worldwide, it affects around 50 to 80% of men and women. So, madami talaga. Di ba, whether you experience it at a young age, or mas latter part na. Usually makikita po natin siya. You just look at your family pictures. Madalas, yun po yung reference. Diba? Let's ask our parents, our grandparents, if they've had that experience because it can prepare us. Meron pala ako sa family history. I might need to take more precaution or I might need to do more activities or at least habits. I might develop new habits para mas gumanda yung hair ko. So basically, that's it. The second type, which is the one that Kelly was describing earlier, it's more of the alopecia areata or something that's still not learned or hindi pa po talaga siya fully developed, but it's something that's autoimmune. It's when our own cells attack our own cells. Diba sa scalp? Meron naman din po tayong alopecia na caused by other conditions. Kaya yung sinasabi po niya kanina, usually, pag pumunta po kayo sa doctor, pinatest, inaalam pa rin po natin if there are other conditions. Like kung may thyroid problem tayo, kasi pwedeng mag-trigger yung thyroid problem. Another would be yung mga drastic weight loss. Yung mga ganon, yung mga immediate changes, even yung mga COVID. We've had patients who've had COVID 3 months after a severe stressful event in your life, whether that's mental, that's physical, that's medical, it can trigger within the next 3 months. So yun yung mga possibilities. So there's really a wide range that may experience po natin yung hair loss. So next slide would be the age, nakita natin kanina. So we all know, usually it's seen ng 40s. Yun yung marker. But as I mentioned earlier, usually you'd see it already early on. Pero pag meron din pong mga ibang sakit, yung kids or medyo may sensitivity, like for example, for kids, nakakita po ako ng alopecia for kids kapag based on lying down. Di ba ang babies po mahilig natin i-lie down? Usually yung advice to not let them lie down just on one end. Kasi ito naman po because of the pressure. Pag palagi siyang nakahiga on this end, na-constrict yung blood vessels. So basically, yun lang naman yung mga ibang but mostly, siguro one of the things that we want to share is that alopecia, maybe we all know it as a chronic condition, but one thing that we want everyone to know is it something that we can take action with. Diba? Yun yung gusto natin malaman, that it's not a dead end. Diba? Like, they were saying kanina, if for example, you've had hair loss or feeling mo, parang, di ba minsan nagsusuklay tayo, alam naman natin yung level of hair fall that looks normal, pero merong mga instances na it might increase. Diba? We don't really actually need to wait for us to have big patches para magpa-consult tayo because we can already take action with the basic information that we need. And I think one of the reasons why we also advocate for alopecia empowerment is because we want to break the stigma that it has created. Diba? Parang, I've read through articles na although mas common po ang alopecia in men, mas makikita, mas madali pong i-wing ng men yung pag-handle ng alopecia. Mas marami pong women na nakaka-experience na once nagka-hair loss sila or nagka-hair problems, automatic nag-kick in yung anxiety. Automatic, merong mga affected yung moods nila, affected yung confidence. So, sometimes, hindi siya yung dun sa dami lang, ay hindi, mas maraming hair fall. Minsan, it's because of how we feel. Lalo na, di ba? I think for women, I think it comes in because your hair is usually, sanay tayo that it's long, it has to be thick. So, may ganong mentality. But either way, it will still affect. Now, I'm just gonna go through siguro a few of the myths or so that we understand more. Diba that's our goal? It's for us to understand and be more aware so that pag marinig po natin yung alopecia or marinig natin yung hair loss, someone comes to us, we can immediately empower them. We can immediately tell them what we know and help them to ease out their worries. Diba? The first thing is, yan. So meron po tayong mga ilang myths. The first one is that we want to address. Sige, yan. Myths. Shampoos can create hair loss. So that's why kung pag tinignan natin, we have Pregroe and Regroe because hindi po talaga kaya. And remember, when we use shampoos, we wash it off. Diba? Kaya po yung Regroe na ginagamit natin, it's leave-on after taking a bath. But the value naman po of shampoos and conditioner, it helps prepare the hair. Kaya siya Pregroe and Regroe that we've developed. So basically, that's one. Second is, washing your hair frequently can cause hair loss. So hindi naman po, because as we mentioned kanina, it's more related to our internal system, it's more related to our hormones, it's more related to our genetics. But there are times that it can be aggravated by extreme conditions, it can be aggravated by deficiencies in vitamins. So pwede pa rin siya. But it will not directly be affected by washing your hair. Okay, next slide. Yeah, getting frequent haircut promotes hair growth. So ito, hindi na naman po siya required, diba? That you cut the hair. What it does is, syempre, kung ano po yung pinakamahabang part na ng hair, madalas, nagtatangle na rin yan. So getting the haircuts actually helps you get your healthy hair better. Kasi po ang lifestyle, ang lifespan, may sarili din pong lifespan ang hair. Normally, yung growing stage po ng hair is really about 3 to 7 to 8 years. So after that period, medyo nag-resting phase na siya. May tatlong stages po ang hair. Pag umabot na po tayo dun sa first, yun po yung actively growing. Pero usually after that season, parang matutulog na siya, then it will fall off. Ganun po yung actively. But each person, I actually computed earlier, yung minimension po natin alopecia, which is on at least more than 100 strands per day, is just 0.006% of our actual hair. So pag tingin natin, maliit na part lang siya. Diba? But ang important kasi for us is that we need hair that keeps growing. Diba? Na kahit nawawalan tayo ng hair, which will occasionally happen to all of us, diba? When age really comes, that our hair thins, it gets less, hindi mas magle-less yung production niya on the scalp, tapos ninipis, and liliit yung mga pores kung saan po siya tumutubo. That's a normal process. So, next myth is that hair loss occurs only during old age. Again, as I mentioned, it doesn't only happen during old age. It actually starts when we're young. Diba? But it can be na hindi mo siya mapapansin because we have a full locks of hair. Diba? Yun nga, we have 150,000 to 300,000 per person just for the scalp. Bukod pa yun sa body. So, medyo marami talaga namang hair. So, matagal bago natin ma-recognize. But, when we recognize it, that's when saka lang tayo nagpapanic. And what we want is for us to already know para we can develop. Diba, sino po sa inyo ngayon, in this day and age, very, very known yung pag-use ng sunscreen because it prevents aging. Diba, it's the same then with hair. Na hindi natin siya pinapansin, but actually, we need to understand it because later on, tayo din yung magbe-benefit with knowing how to take care of our hair. Sige, next slide. Ayan, direct sunlight causes hair loss. So it doesn't really directly cause hair loss because our hair actually helps protect. Diba? Pag tinignan mo yan, if you remove all your hair, madalas yan yung mas maputi compared to the rest of your body that's exposed. Because it's actually protecting your scalp. Diba? Hindi naman po yan directly maaapektuhan, but there are some conditions wherein if we have allergies, sometimes it can trigger temporarily na mag-reactive hair. But normally, hindi naman siya. Next is, hot showers cause hair loss. This one, it doesn't really directly cause, but let's remember, anything na heat-related can damage our hair strands. So pag sobra, whether it's doing it in the shower na it's very hot, or if frequent treatments to the salon na sobrang dalas, mga weekly, di ba? It's really not advisable because it can damage our hair. So at least we should know how frequent we can visit. Then in between, at least we know how to take care of our hair. Kasi yung hair po natin, it's actually made up of dead cells. But it's dead cells that we wanted to protect. So yun po yung gusto natin because it has a coating. Meron po siyang sariling, kumbaga nakalaminate po yung hair natin when we see it. But with frequent heat, natatanggal po yung parang lamination na yun. And that's what we want to keep protecting. Next slide. Ayan. So basically, pag tinignan natin, in this one, Pregroe and Regrow are two of our beloved brands because it doesn't just help you deal with hair loss, but it helps actually keep your hair healthy. And one of the things that we've developed with Pregrow, we've actually improved our packaging and we've introduced already 2 variants now of what we have that can help. Kasi sino po sa inyo, di ba? Mostly for our Pregroe, which is the aloe vera, yung meron po kami ngayon, usually, it's for really healthy hair promotion. But meron times din po tayo, especially sa Philippines, paiba-iba po yung weather. Usually, the heat is really crazy and now po, lalo na dumadami na po yung kakayahan natin mag-travel. So, minsan napapalit-palit. And we also have now a cooling Pregroe shampoo and conditioner which helps naman prevent and control not just yung dandruff that we have but also enables us na maganda yung pakiramdam natin. Diba? Iba yung pakiramdam if it's cooling. So that's why we've developed, we've upgraded our Pregroe brands and also we're also developing continuously our Regrow brand so that we continuously offer the best brands in the market. So for Regrow naman po, we've always been saying that minoxidil is still the only proven. Imagine it's already 30 years mahigit. I think the first was in 1980s pa, but it's still the number one FDA approved that can be used for hair loss. Diba? Yun pa rin yung only medicated because topical because marami pong ibang brands pero minsan maraming side effects. And because our hair, let's remember, malayo siya from the rest of our body. So madalas, hindi po talaga effective yung iinom ka lang kasi ang dami niyang dadaanan. And kaya mostly, mas effective if we use medications that's direct on the affected area. So basically, that's our Regrow and Pregrow sets. That's what we've developed. It's something that we've developed. We started developing over 35 years ago. Now, it doesn't mean that we stop, but we continue to develop it. But on the other side, we're also finding ways as well to make it known. Diba? Kasi it's for us, alam na po namin that it's effective. But what we want right now is yung minimension kanina, I think Kelly Day mentioned about, we all know, even ako po na doctor, and we have two of our doctors here who's part of our research team, we all know that minsan, takot pa rin naman po talaga yung regular consumer to visit the doctors. And that's the gap that we want to address. Because as doctors, every time we get our patients po at an advanced stage, minsan mas mahirap. Although there are actual treatments that we can do in the clinic, there's basic treatments to advanced treatments like surgery that we can have. Minsan mas maganda that we walk them through. And I think one thing that we realize with alopecia, alopecia is something that I think everyone will go through one way or the other. Diba? Whether it's about you, whether it's about someone who's with you, whether it's your family member or your friends, someone will have that. And it's important for all of us to somehow break the stigma that it's not contagious. Diba? That's one. Kasi minsan pag nakita mo, there's panic already. Second, it's not life-threatening. Diba? Hindi pag nawala ng hair, it can grow back. And that's our heart and that's our desire that we would be able to bring back the confidence that is somehow being taken away by some of the conditions that we have. Whether that be dandruff, hair loss, or alopecia, we always want Regrow and Pregrow to be our Filipinos, the Filipinos brand partners in having healthy hair and promoting healthy hair for everyone. So I think that's it.